It's time for the Dungeon Dweebs.
REITHA, the last thing you remember is being in a fight, falling unconscious, and as you fall into unconsciousness, you find yourself sitting on a stone bench in a courtyard. You've never seen this place before, you're not sure why you're seeing it now, and what's happening is almost like you're taking a ride in someone else's body. The person that you are gets up, walks to what seems to be some sort of stables, then walks into this large, almost mansion, and has some sort of conversation, but the words are distorted so you can't really make out what they're saying. And you see the woman that she's talking to go into another room where you see a cradle with a child. You can just see it through the bars on the cradle. And then you leave, you walk back to the stables, get on a horse. There's about 4 guards with you, and you begin riding towards what you recognize as the forest that you were in when you and Simon met Gil. Eventually you reach the forest, and after about 20 minutes of riding or so, you come upon what seems to be the same manor that you were in, but when you saw it, it was in ruins. Currently it is in what looks like it's prime time. All of its walls are up, it's well lit, there's people milling about, and eventually you dismount, you leave the horses with the guards, you go in, and a woman that you don't recognize comes up and gives you a hug. And then you're watching this in third person. They go through the doors into the dining hall, and it closes shut. Your vision warps, and now you're a child in a cradle looking up at a woman in what seems to be some sort of maid's outfit, maybe a nursemaid of some sort, as well as an older man with salt and pepper hair, rather stocky, about 5'11", maybe 6 feet tall. Your vision warps once again, and you find yourself at the entrance to the temple where you spent most of your life. You see the field of ashes before it was burnt away, all of its life sucked out. And then you see the face of a woman who looks like Lillian, but she has blonde hair instead of brown. And then the vision fades and you feel yourself gaining consciousness. And you look around and you're in a cabin. You're tied to a chair. Lillian is tied to another chair, not too far from you within your line of vision. She seems to still be unconscious. In one of the beds in the cabin, you can see the woman that you initially had attacked. She seems to be sleeping, still looking very injured. And eventually the door opens, and you hear 2 sets of footsteps come in, and eventually they come into your view, and you see the red-haired mage that was part of the fight before. Getting a good look at her now, you can see that she's maybe 16 or 17 years old, definitely the youngest of the group that you've seen thus far. And the other one seems to be in maybe her 20s or 30s.
Can I pretend to still be out of it?
Yeah, if you'd like.
I think I'd like to.
Yeah, go ahead. Make me a deception check.
That's not great. That's an 8.
Yeah, with an 8. The two women on... What's your passive perception?
14.
As these two women come in, you hear them talking. You're not exactly sure what they're talking about, but you hear the name Basil, as well as the name Dane, and lastly, the name Meryl. Eventually, the younger of the two women pulls up a chair, sitting about 5 feet in front of you, and she says, I might understand why you don't want to talk, but don't bother trying to act like you're still sleeping.
Where's the rest of my friends?
They're in the other cabin. This is the women's cabin, hence we have the woman here. It seemed better to split you up, and, well...
But they're okay.
They're fine, yes. I'm Ariel, by the way. What's your name?
You hurt my friends. I'm not telling you anything.
You're the one who started the fight.
Doesn't mean I have to trust you.
Well, you don't have to tell me your real name either, but having something to refer to you other than girl would be helpful.
You can call me Anna.
All right, then. Well, Anna, this is my friend, Myra, and the woman over there that you initially attacked is Meryl. Why did you attack her?
Just let me go. I won't attack. I got my friends hurt. I don't want to stay here. I won't bother you or them. And they didn't want to fight, so you can let them go too. They were just protecting me.
The slightly older woman speaks up now. She pulls down her hood. You see she has blonde hair as well. And she comes over and she says, normally we wouldn't keep a child tied up like this, but that necklace that you're wearing. And she pulls out the pendant from around your neck. Only the children of a noble have this.
What?
So why do you?
Wait, what pendant? Which pendant?
This is the Starburst pendant.
That I've always had?
That's the one.
No, my mother gave me this a long time. I'm not a noble.
And yet, you have the mark of noble house. And you said you've had it since birth, that your mother gave it to you, so who exactly is your mother?
She's just mother. She took care of all of us.
And who is all of us?
I immediately feel like I've given too much away and I stop talking again.
Why aren't you with your mother now?
I don't say anything.
The younger woman speaks up now. Ariel. Did you lose your family?
I don't say anything.
I know what it's like to lose a family. Even if they're not dead, just gone. I'm the daughter of a fallen house in Serenica, but I'm also a mage, and whether or not you know this, Serenica isn't exactly friendly to mages. None of Saradina is. I know what it's like to lose a home. I also know what it's like to have found family. But you don't speak about your mother as if she's dead. So...
She's not. She shouldn't be dead.
Why aren't you with her?
I had to go.
And why is that?
I was told to.
By who?
By my father?
Where did he tell you to go?
Just out. Told that we needed to learn.
Did he send anyone with you?
No.
How old are you?
I think I'm 12.
And your mother said nothing?
I was listening to both of them. They both wanted me to go.
So your parents sent you out without any specific direction or destination, without any protection?
I can take care of myself. They know. I mean, I don't want to talk, if that's okay. I think I'm still hurt. I'm sorry.
You feel some healing rush through your body as Ariel casts healing word.
Thank you. I can heal your friend. I'm sorry. I just got upset.
Her wounds are alright. She just needs rest.
And my other friend who's in the room with us, is she going to be awake?
She will.
Can she be awake now?
It's better not to force people awake. We'll be back later.
If my other friends are awake, can you tell them I'm sorry?
We will. And they leave the cabin. A few minutes later, Lillian finally blinks awake.
You're awake.
REITHA?
No,
What's going on?
No. My name's Anna, remember?
No, it's not.
It's Anna. And your name is not what it was. What is it?
Caitlin.
Okay, Caitlin. Okay. Are you okay?
I'm fine. Where are we? What's going on?
They took us prisoner.
We were in a fight.
Yes.
You started that fight. Why did you attack them?
She took something that was important to me, and I wasn't thinking, and I'm sorry that you got hurt. But everyone's okay. They're in the other room. I'll try to get us out, okay?
You get another flash of a vision. This time, it seems like you're back in the maze. Not in your own body, but in what you assume is Lillian's, and in her arms you see the body of another woman. You can see that there's a rope around her neck, and the body slowly turns to dust and falls away. And shortly after, Reggie comes into the room and asks where their mom is. And then the vision flashes away.
You're gonna get out of here, you and Reggie, okay?
Simon, after you fell unconscious, your mind drifts back to when you first met your mentor. You remember shortly after she took you in, she's teaching you how to pick a lock. She hands you a set of tools and says, "Alright, now just like I taught you, be gentle with the tools, slide them into the lock, feel for the teeth, unlock them one by one, and turn." The lock comes open and she closes again. Now, you try. Go ahead and make me a Thieves' Tools check.
13.
You're a 13. It's a little difficult, but you've practiced with the Thieves' Tools a couple of times, so eventually you manage to get all the teeth open, and you turn it, and it unlocks. A little clumsy, but you're still new at this. Now, how about we spar for a little bit and teach you how to be able to fend for yourself just a little bit better. And she hands you a blunt dagger. Ready?
Yeah.
How about you take the first hit?
Huh?
Go ahead and roll to attack.
23.
Yeah, you managed to get a hit on her, and she kind of recoils a little bit. Good hit. My turn. And instead of coming at you like you expected with her dagger in her hand, she instead throws the dagger at you, forcing you to duck, and then pushes you off balance, trapping your arm behind you and holding a dagger that was in her boot to your neck. You forgot lesson number 1. Always fight dirty. She pulls the knife away and lets you back up.
Right.
But I wasn't lying. Your hit earlier was good. And we have a job to do.
Good pay?
Some of the best we've had for a while. Lily's out for a couple of days, so we'll be doing it without her, but you, me, Rockshore, and Molly should be able to get the job done just fine.
Great. What am I doing?
let's go talk about that. And she puts her hand on your back, and you guys walk out into the common area where your group usually meets. And as you walk through the door, your vision shifts again to what you remember as close to the end of the aforementioned job. You're blocked into a corner. Sheila's injured, sitting against a wall. Rockshore is unconscious on the floor. Behind the man approaching you is just you with the dagger, and you don't know where Molly is. What would you like to do?
I throw the dagger, attempting to mimic my teacher.
Go ahead, roll the hit.
14?
Yeah, you throw the dagger, but the man knocks it aside with his sword, and as he pulls it back to stab you, you see his back arch, and the point of a dagger is protruding from his chest. And as he falls away, you see Molly standing there, wipes the blade on the clothes of the man that he just killed. I hope I'm not too late.
Oh, thank God you're here. Help?
Indeed. And he walks over to Sheila. Well, on the bright side, this isn't too bad of a wound, so we'll just go ahead and wrap it up and get it out of here. And she looks at him and she says, did you at least get the item? He pulls some sort of box out of the inside of his jacket, and he says, of course I did. Why do you think it took me so long? Now I suggest we get out of here. Simon, can you help me carry Rockshore? He's not exactly the lightest person on the earth.
Yeah.
As quickly and quietly as the four of you can manage, you make your way out of the window that you came in through, dropping Rockshore in mud in the process.
Yep.
Before making your way back across town as best you can, sticking to the shadows, before getting back to your usual bar. Eventually Lily comes back and she treats Sheila's wounds so that she's not dying anymore. Rockshore eventually wakes up and is currently nursing a mug of ale, and Molly's just going between sharpening his dagger and looking at the box, trying to figure out how to open it.
Curiosity will get me to walk towards the box, just to see what the big deal was for this thing.
And he looks at you as you approach and he tosses you the box. Take a look at this. What do you think? Any specific way to get it open, would you say?
Simon moves it around and almost starts shaking it a little bit to see if there's anything inside.
Yeah, sounds solid. Go ahead, give me an investigation check.
You got it. 17?
Yeah, with a 17, on most of the sides of the box are a couple of different gears, all interlocked. There's one side of the box that is a rather thick pane of glass, and on the other side of it you can see where all of the gears come together. Go ahead and make me a sleight of hand check.
26.
And with 26, you spend a minute or two kind of fidgeting with the gears. Eventually you realize how it works, and you twist the gears in a couple of different orders before eventually it all comes to a line, and then you press on the side of the box with the glass on it, and it clicks open. Inside is a coin.
What?
And Molly looks at you with a little bit of newfound respect and says, not bad. So what do we have?
A bloody coin. What is this?
Go ahead and make me an Arcana check. I'll have you make it a disadvantage because you don't have any experience with magic at this moment in time.
6 in total.
Yeah, with a 6, it literally just looks like a copper coin.
We did all this for copper coin? What is this?
Eventually Sheila walks up behind you guys. Oh, good, you got the box open.
We've been gypped. It's all for a coin, a copper piece of all things.
I'm assuming you've never interacted with a magic item before.
What?
This isn't just a copper coin. It's a wishing coin.
Those are fairy tales. Those don't exist.
Well, regardless of whether they exist or not, for one thing, the coin is magical. Whether or not it's a wishing coin, that's all I was told. And our client's paying us very good money, so we're not exactly going to complain.
If it's a wishing coin, why don't we just use it? The richest we can ever be.
That type of magic always comes with a price. One that's I'm not exactly willing to pay.
Can't be that much. What, a couple of pints of blood? Like, you know how they always go? Sacrifice a goat?
If that were that simple, I would have stolen this a long time ago. She just kind of smiles sadly and holds her hand out. Do you mind?
Yeah. Oh, hands the whole thing.
You hand the box and the coin to your mentor. She takes it and puts it inside of her jacket. Now I'm going to go deliver this, and I'll meet you guys back here in the morning.
Okay.
And she disappears out the door of the bar and leaves you guys alone. And your vision shifts again back to the night of the massacre, and looking down at the face of your dying mentor, it shocks you awake. Gil, after you fall unconscious, you find yourself back in the forest, holding a bow, pulling it back, and loosing the arrow at a stag across the clearing. It hits it in the heart, and you hear a man next to you say, "Not bad, kid. Now let's go take our kill and cook it up for the day." And you look over and you see Godric, who initially taught you how to hunt and survive in the forest.
Sounds like a plan. He's gonna feed us for a while, isn't it?
A couple days anyways. After we get some of it cooked, we'll hang up the rest to cure, and I'll bring some salt tomorrow. And he picks up the stag, flays it over his shoulder, and the two of you begin walking back to the clearing where you've begun to build a cabin. Go ahead and get started skinning this. I'm gonna go grab a few things from town. I should be back in maybe an hour or two. Shouldn't take too long. And he sets off through the forest, and you start skinning the stag. And after about 5-10 minutes, you're about halfway done. You're about to cut it open and clean it out, and you hear some heavy footsteps on the other side of the base of your cabin. And you look up and see a very large owlbear.
Calmly step away from the animal, trying to make myself smaller and just try not to be the main reason for its attraction.
Yeah, it slowly walks towards the stag, looking between it and you. Kind of paws at the stag a little bit before focusing all of its attention on you.
I misjudged this. Gonna just look around at this, around, see if I have anywhere to really go. Trying to determine what this owlbear is looking hungry or anything.
Go ahead and make me a nature check.
18.
With an 18, it does not look hungry, it looks angry.
I'm gonna pull out my dagger and slowly bring it up and ready to protect myself. I don't think you need to do this, guy. You can just take the deer and go away.
It's about 15 feet away. It's going to start running towards you.
Is there I'm not in the cabin, I'm out in the open. Is there
The cabin's not even fully built yet.
Is there something I can climb?
Not really. Also, bears can climb trees, so there's that too.
Young Gil was going to take this option, just say, I can't outrun it, and just run at it.
Sure, go ahead and roll to hit with advantage.
Okay. It's 11. Okay, since I said it's dagger, it's probably not a magical dagger, so I'm just gonna say regular 4. For 6. That's a 22? I think 16 plus 6. I think a dagger I only have. I hit one. Yeah, okay, 6. So 22.
Yeah, 22 does hit, and you stab it into the chest of the owlbear, who rears up, roars, and takes a swing at you. Yeah, it swipes at you with a massive paw, and basically knocks you halfway across the clearing. You hit the base of the cabin, very battered with a large gash across your chest. And as the owlbear begins approaching you, you see it almost fall over its front paws, and you see it yanked back into the forest. And then you pass out and your vision shifts, and you find yourself in a rather large clearing with a woman in a blue dress standing over you, just looking straight down at you.
I'm just going to give that sweet, 17-year-old boy smile of, hi.
She hands you a piece of honey bread.
Graciously take it. Looking at her before nibbling on it.
She's just watching you. It seems like she's never seen another person before in her life.
Hi, thank you for the food.
I nail with. Usually I'm a lot better at this. I haven't exactly talked to anyone for a while. Welcome to the forest.
Thank you. I'm Horace, but told I should go by Gil.
Yes, that's a much better name. A tree wants to talk to you. And she points at a path leading out of the grove. You notice that your wounds are fully healed now, and you're also dressed in different clothes than you were originally.
I can't talk to trees.
You don't have to talk to the tree. The tree's gonna talk to you.
Okay.
You should go. It's not very patient. And she turns into a fox and runs into the forest.
Thank you, pretty lady. Gonna walk towards the clearing she's pointing me to.
Yeah, and eventually you come to a large oak tree that seems like it has the face of a man just kind of carved into it.
Hi, tree. There was a person that told me you want to talk.
A pair of eyes opens on the tree that looks surprisingly human.
Oh. Okay.
Indeed I did. It's been a long time since anyone other than Aelwith and myself have been in this forest. And, of course, the man that was with you earlier today. Who are you?
I go by Gil.
And why are you here?
I was brought here by a friend, or I guess the last family I have, to helping me keep safe.
Safe from what?
People who want to hurt me, I think. People have heard of my parents.
Strange circumstances lead to strange solutions. Make the most of your circumstances while you're here, but know that you, like all things, are not permanent. And the tree closes its eyes.
Oh, okay. Thank you, tree.
Says nothing.
Walk away, nibbling on the honey bread.
And as you walk back towards the clearing, you slowly regain consciousness. Hey everyone, Jon here. I just want to take a little bit of time to say thank you for listening to our podcast. This is something that we do with the little bit of spare time that we have, and we're doing everything that we can to make our podcast as good as it can be. If you want to keep up to date with all of our content, including a little bit of bonus content, you can follow us on social media. Our Instagram handle is @dungeondweebspod. We have a subreddit too, at reddit.com/r/dungeondweebs. Last but not least, if you want to support us for as little as $5 a month, we have a Patreon. You can find us either directly at patreon.com/TDD podcast or through the link on our Instagram page. But that's enough about that. Let's jump right back into the story. As you open your eyes, you find yourself in a cabin, and for a quick moment, you think that you're back at home somehow and that the past couple of days have been a dream. And then you see Simon in a chair across from you, slowly waking up.
That's not good.
No shit.
Oof.
Send off. Count your toes. Count your fingers. Are we still alive?
Yeah. We're missing 2 people. Where's the kids?
Good question.
Reggie's sitting in another chair.
Fine.
He's looking at both of you. Nice of you to finally rejoin the world of the living.
Fuck you too, kid.
Do I see Veruna anywhere?
She's in, a little cage across the room.
Can I tell from the expertise of these knots how well tied up we are?
You were tied up as someone who's tied people up before.
Is my mask off and my hair in my normal hair color or no?
Your hair is your normal hair color, yes, but for some reason your mask is still on.
That's new.
Yeah, well, I have a habit of dyeing my hair. What else is new?
I liked it better black.
Yeah, well, obnoxious platinum blonde gets noticed very quickly. How long have we been out?
Am I able to gauge that?
There are a couple windows in the cabin. It seems to be late evening now. The sun hasn't completely gone down, but it's getting there. So a couple hours.
A few hours at most.
Great. Great.
As long as it's the same day.
Great. Well, we're not dead then.
No.
Alright.
Do you have anything on you?
Good question. I'm moving my... So here's a question. Can I dislocate my thumb and remove these knots and remove one hand or no? Or is these knots are so tight that they're causing circulation to my hands?
Roll me a d20.
Oh, okay. 18.
Yeah, you've done this before. If you'd like to do sleight of hand, you are welcome to.
22.
Yeah, you dislocate your thumb and you're able to slide your hands out.
Put it back in. Oh, okay. I'm checking my person. Do they take every dagger, every hidden blade I have on me or no?
Yeah. Bracer as well.
Huh. Beautiful. Do I see anything in the room?
A couple of chests, couple of beds. Nothing out in the open.
Are the chests locked?
They are, yeah.
I'm going to... How far apart is from everybody?
You're all sitting around a square table.
Okay. I'm going to try to undo the person next to me and try and just make it as quick as possible, try and not make any noise.
Sure. Go ahead, roll me stealth and sleight of hand.
Both? Alright. I'll just do the one at a time.
What's your passive perception?
15.
Okay.
Double 16s.
Yeah, you managed to get the ropes off of Reggie's hand.
Alright, Reggie. I'm doing Gil next. Getting his stuff off of him. Where the hell's the rest?
There was 2 cabins. Probably at the second one.
Alright, we get them out and we go.
As you guys begin, Gil going towards Veruna and Simon going towards the door, you hear the sound of steel on steel, and you look to the back of the room, and sitting in a dark corner is the guy with the chain axes, just kind of looking at you guys.
Shit. Good morning.
It's evening, actually. You've been out for about a day and a half. I'm Peter, by the way. And you're all still fairly hurt, so I'd suggest you sit back down. Oh, and, by the way, Drake's cage is enchanted, so I'd suggest not touching it.
Why is she caged?
You're joking, right? She breathes lightning. What?
Gil, sit the fuck down.
Right. I'm going to go grab the boss, let him know that you're awake. Try not to break anything. Oh, and don't touch the windows. There's a couple of glyphs of warding on them as well. And he walks out the front door.
The fuck is a glyph of warding? Is that supposed to be a tripwire? Is that what it is? Reggie, please tell me you have anything on you.
Not now. Sorry.
What about the other two? Have you seen them?
Best guess, they're in the cabin. They didn't actually knock me out. So...
Why didn't you run when I told you to?
Where exactly was I gonna go?
Back to town.
Also, they have my sister, so what? You expect me to just leave her here?
I said to run when things got bad. The distraction was me doing a thing. It's too late to ask that now. It's already done. It's already done.
And after a minute, the guy comes back in, along with another man with a long sword on his back, and one of the two people that originally turned into a wolf.
There's a lot for disarmed people, you know.
Yes, well, we're not exactly in the habit of going anywhere unarmed, even our own camp, for that matter. After all, we are mercenaries.
I'm sorry, I'm still wrapping the head of that you two fuckers over there turned to wolves.
Right, well, this is Dane. He's the white wolf that you saw earlier. The other one is Roland. He's the black wolf.
I got acquainted by both of them already. I got the bite marks for it, but yeah. Hello.
It's good to put a name to the bite marks. Right over there is Peter. I'm Basil. And we have another mage outside, name of Grayson. And I'm sure the women are getting acquainted with the girls as well. So, where exactly were you going? Why are you here instead of there? And why were you going wherever you were going before?
You want to know where we were coming from? We were coming from, that ruined town. Excuse me, I think the concussion's still on me.
Leywood.
Yes, that one. We came there after seeing the smoke. You know the rest. Came back from the town we were all in, and we're planning to take the children here to see if they can take their relatives. Well, get them to their relatives. But we found evidence that points at the one that was the white wolf of you breaking into a children's room. I assumed the worst, and my youngest ward mentioned something that of her mother's been stolen. I'll take kindly to that, so here we are.
Basil looks at Dane. Kind of a look in his eyes, just, really? And Dane just looks at him and says, I have a sensitive nose. I smelled shimmer on the kid. Found the pouch. We burned it. There's not really much more to it than that. Just finishing the job.
You see, this is the part where maybe it might be my experience of just living. But if you believe a child is carrying harmful substance, you would, let the adults know. And then maybe, can hand it to you. Instead of the whole breaking into, again, I really want to point out, children's room.
The way you're talking about it, I'm assuming that neither of you are the dad of said children.
Does it look like mine?
Point taken. So why exactly are you traveling with the child, especially one that's not yours?
I have a soft spot for strays. Thought I could teach her a few things to survive in the world. And then the other two showed up. Recently, I might add.
And did you know that said child is a noble?
I'm sorry, what?
She is a pendant with the mark of a noble house of Severn, nonetheless, around her neck, and from what she's told the girls, she's had it since she was a child.
Okay.
Are those important people?
Everybody in the room just looks at you.
I'll look back at them.
He's he's rediscovering civilization. He's been out in the wilds for a while. I did say I like to pick up strays. I just didn't realize my range will be a lot older afterwards. If the kid's a noble, I don't believe it, because the fact that I found her in the streets, I wouldn't be surprised if that's just a fake sigil or whatever it is. She found it somewhere in a pawn shop or took it from someone.
See, that would be believable, except that this noble house, like most others, binds the sigil of their house to the child with a drop of blood. It's done at birth, and this one was bound to her. Kind of hard to get that from a pawn shop.
Simon's just pinching the bridge of his nose and just has his eyes closed at this point. He's like, okay. Well, I didn't know.
By the way, is there a name we can call you?
Duncan.
Duncan. Great. Honestly, I don't care what your real name is. Just hate referring to people as that guy or that man or whatever. Names are just so much simpler.
Names are never simple.
And at this point, you hear a little bit of commotion outside, and Dane steps out to see what's happening. Commotion dies down, and a minute or two later, he walks through the door, whispers something to Basil, and Basil nods and goes outside for a moment. And then he comes back in and says, "All right, Duncan, you're free to go."
Perfect. I just grab my people and we go.
Not exactly. You are free to go. The girl we're going to deliver back to her house. And what is your name?
Godric.
Godric, right. Where exactly did you live? There's not very many people that live in the wilds around here, at least in a town. And nobody can really live in the forest, so that's...
Forest is where I live.
I did say he's being reoriented to society. And I'm going to be honest with you, I can't leave without the kid.
Follow the kid if you want. Either way, we're escorting her back to Cairnhold. As for the other two, I don't really care. It looks like they're related. He looks at Reggie. Are you and the other woman related? Yeah, she's my sister. Great. She's an adult. You two can go on your way. With the child, we're escorting to Cairnhold. I really don't care about the rest of you, honestly. I'm just fulfilling a favor.
Wait, who's asking this favor?
A man that is not exactly fond of me, and I'm really not that fond of him either. And he doesn't exactly take well to a lot of people, so the fact that he's calling in a favor to help you, well, it's rather a high price.
What are we talking about here?
He's outside.
Thanks.
So is the rest of your stuff. He tosses you your bracer. I'm guessing you'll want that back.
Pocket the bracers and I'm going to peek my head outside. Who the hell is doing this for us? Yeah, Simon just blinks and just looks very confused and just... Lucas? What the hell are you doing out here?
Getting you out, obviously.
Yeah, no shit, thank you, but what the fuck's...
You called in a favor, and I can't really finish that favor unless you're out, so I called in a favor of my own, so let's just call it even, and I have your IDs for you here.
You know these people?
Yes, they don't like me and I don't like them, but they owe me a favor because I got them out of a bind a couple years back.
Okay. Alright, thanks, man.
And he walks over, he hands you a stack of IDs. Here are your IDs. Don't lose them, and don't contact me again. I'm going back to town after I eat my soup. We're even now.
That we are, man. That we are. Just goes back in the room with everyone's stuff.
And y'all get your equipment back.
-1 whip.
-1 whip.
I'm so sad.
Do I get did they unlock the room?
Yes. Yes, they do.
Okay, well, that's a interesting development. And he just looks at the rest of these people and just... Yeah, I ain't leaving until I talk to this kid. Find out what the hell's going on.
Well, we're gonna leave in the morning. I suggest you get some sleep now.
Can we speak with them, or are they still out?
No, they're awake. But We're mostly suspecting that she's going to run off and we don't allow men into the women's cabin and vice versa, so you can talk to her through a window.
Fair. Alright. It's your show, buddy.
And after a few minutes, you're brought to a window. REITHA is sitting there in a chair, untied now.
Simon's about to speak up, but then just stops, just stares at the window, and he's just gonna look at Gil and say, "You go talk to her for a bit. I'm gonna take a walk."
Gil's just going to stay at the camp. He's really not sure what to do. He was just told to stay with these two, and the fact that there's the chance for separation, he is not sure what to do.
I'm gonna look at you and say, "What's the gender of your little Drake again? Just remind me again." Female. She can go in there and keep her company for a bit.
Gil is just shrug. Okay. Give a small whistle to Runa, a little high pitch, and just point at REITHA.
I'm gonna grab a piece of paper from my pack, write something down, fold it, and it's like, give this to her before she gets any ideas.
Alright. Puts the little note in Bruna's mouth, and she just happily just waddles over.
Hi, Verna. Is everyone okay?
She just she nods. I think she understands basic communication, so she nods.
Does she give me the note?
It's in her mouth.
Okay. I'll make sure no one's watching and take it. Is anyone around? That's not Lillian?
No, everybody else is kind of outside.
Okay, I'm gonna read it.
Oh, you're reading it?
Yeah.
Don't run, Simon. And it's big, bold letters.
Is there do I see them through the window? When I look up?
You don't see Simon. He's left for a walk.
But I see Gil?
Yeah.
I'll just nod at him. And I put the note away. Give her a nice scratch.
She chirps.
I don't do anything. Yeah.
So what is Simon doing during this time?
Simon just does a quick... It doesn't even walk through the full camp because I know these guys are just eyeballing the entire time. He's looking to see if there's any remnants of the fight.
Like they said, it's been about a day and a half. I mean, there's like a little bit of blood on one of the corners of the cabins. That looks like it might have been from the fight. Most everything else has been blown away from whatever wind blows through this region.
Do I find the remnants of my whip?
You do not. It seems like they probably disposed of it.
That's fair. Seeing all this, and Simon just shakes his head and just starts thinking about his training and how a group watches each other's back if they want to succeed. But this was such a shit show that he just doesn't understand how this just elevated so quickly.
And after a few moments, as you're just kind of standing at the edge of the camp, you hear a pair of footsteps come up behind you, and you see the blonde woman who shot you at the end of the fight walks up to you with a bowl of soup.
He stares at it and looks at her and just wordlessly takes it, just nods.
And she climbs up onto the roof and sits on it, overlooking, just kind of looking into the forest.
What a fucking shit show. Simon Atlas doesn't care anymore. He just moves the mask down for a little bit and drinks a little bit of the soup. Puts the mask back up. Good soup.
Eventually, you just kind of hear her voice from above you. I'm sorry about shooting you, by the way.
It's fine. It's expected. Like I said, this was a shit show. I expected something, not that. Good shot.
Well, you made it kind of easy.
That was kind of the point. They didn't want the fight, but it happened. I lost my favorite whip, too.
Yeah,
It's fine. It's fine. You got a name?
Lyra.
Fake name Duncan.
Real name?
I mean, I'm being truthful about it.
Alright.
No offense, but I'm still waiting for the punchline in this scenario.
Does there have to be one?
Always.
Maybe there would have been, but Lucas called in a favor, and we may not like him, but we do trust him. That's all there is to it.
What did he say to consider taking the favor?
Doesn't matter.
No, not really. It's already done. Listen, I apologize for whatever my friends did, or whatever they did to yours and all that. I don't know if you're going to hear an apology from any of the other two, but you get it from me at least. Alright?
I appreciate that.
Thanks for the soup. I'm going to go back, see how the other two are doing. Oh, the four.
What do you plan to do after this?
Follow the noble girl that has been lying to me since I met her. Isn't that a bitch?
A couple hours go by, the sun sets, night sets in. They offer you a couple of beds inside the cabin.
I'll decline the cabin. I'll take the pillow. I'll have my bedroll down near the window.
Eventually the fire dies down, and you can all mark a long rest. And the next morning, you all set out on horses. They have a couple of extras. They give one to REITHA, and they explain the situation to REITHA, at least the fact that they're going to Cairnhold. And they set off. If you guys want to ride with them, you can. If you'd like to follow behind, you can. If you want to go a completely different direction, you're able to do that as well.
I just kind of follow whoever's giving me directions to do whatever.
Most of who's talking to you is Ariel. Clearly it's because she's the youngest and thus has the most relation to you. Also, she used to be a noble.
Do they tell me that I am one? Like they did the blood test thing?
I mean, Lyra mentioned that you were a noble the night before. When
They
were
didn't talk
talking
about
to
the
you.
blood thing.
They did not. That isn't something that they talked about to you. Mostly because if you're a noble, that's something you should know about.
I look at Simon as they're kind of directing me. And just kind of look at him with like, do you want me to listen to them?
Simon does not have his hair dyed. And he will give you a look that is not of judgment, not of annoyance, just gives you a look and doesn't say anything.
I just kind of hang my head and follow whoever I'm following. Ariel, probably. Get on my horse. And I don't look back to see if they're following or not.
Simon will be quiet for a minute, just watching them go on a steady pace, and then he moves the horse to go follow from a reasonable distance.
And the 11 of you begin going towards Cairnhold. And that is where we will end today's session.
Whew.
Everybody stop your recordings!